I love making crushed glass Christmas trees. They are great sellers at art and craft shows. And I mainly use beer and wine bottles, and I may or may not have help drinking all of it. But sometimes my glass comes from very unexpected sources. All right. Crushed glass Christmas trees are hot sellers this time of the year. These are going to be a little bit bigger than normal, but these are fence boards. They're already painted, so I don't need to seal them anymore. But these are just old fence boards that have been on a fence. And so they're worn and they're weathered. They're already sealed, they're already colored, but I have sanded them. So they're clean, they're not buggy. And so I did sand them. It's a pretty color, isn't it? This is not the normal glass that I use. This is a Facebook Marketplace find. So I got this on Marketplace from someone who has glass scraps from glass blowing and glass fusing and stained glass. And so I got a whole bunch of glass pieces. I got busy nipping, and there's all different colors in here. So I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it all mixed up. I was going to pick out all the green, and then make one green tree and then one blue tree. But good Lord, I don't want to go through all that. So I'm going to leave it all in there. Some of these pieces are really thick. And this is just scrap. It's not sharp, so I'm not worried about cutting myself. But how cool is this? And I see these ads all the time. Now, they may not be available in your area, but look at Facebook Marketplace for sources. It's just something different. So the process is going to be the same. I'm going to lay the glass out. I'm going to put resin on it. But first, I'm going to get some trunks and I'm going to use stars. Oh, I got to show you what I found today. So two things I found on my beach walk today. With all the storms that we've had offshore, I've been finding a lot of really cool driftwood. This is one of my favorite things to use as a trunk. So I'm going to use this as a trunk. And this is a conch shell that's really been weathered and tumbled. I'm going to use that as a trunk. It's a little bit bigger and a little bit chunkier, but it's very, very coastal. And then we need some stars at the top. This is going to be way too big. That's pretty cool, just because it's so different. This is, I think, a trinket dish, but I like it. Found this at a thrift store. It's big and it's bulky, kind of cool. And then I've got some starfish, my starfish stash. I think I'm going to use one of my new stars. Okay. And now I'm going to mix up resin. So I'm going to put the resin down first, and then I'm going to put the glass, and then I'm going to put more resin on top of the glass. That way, if I have any seepage, I'm able to control it a little bit, and I already have resin on the board. So I hope that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I have enough. Let's just go ahead and see if I have enough. I'm pretty sure I do. This is going to be a tall, skinny tree. I'm glad the background is already painted blue because that's going to kind of hide the ugly a little bit. Might need a little bit more on that. Oh yeah, I'm going to have plenty. Okay, let me go ahead and dump this back in here. Okay. I'm probably going to mix up 60 milliliters for each because these are a little bit bigger. And I'm going to use the Bond Crafter tabletop resin.
I pour part A first because it is much thicker and then it can settle and even out in the cup. This allows for a much more accurate measurement, which is very important when you're working with resin. And I'm also using my handy dandy Let's Resin mini mixer, which is a hand saver. Plus, it's rechargeable and portable.
All right, so let's just do a thin layer straight on the board. All over the board. And this also helps to hold the glass in place so it doesn't wiggle around. Because that is kind of a pain in the butt when you are trying to get your glass on, you're trying to get it level, and it's just flopping around like a fish. So this is just a skim coat here. What I like about this tabletop resin, it is made for coating. It is made for this, but it is made for coating and it is made for things like this. It's not going to fish eye. I just love that look. I really do. Okay, now for the glass. Wiggling there. Pretty random. Kind of would like sort of loose edges. A lot of times I will use my stick to kind of just give me a nice clean line. But I kind of like having it a little loose. It's sort of cool. There is all kinds of colors on here. There's blues of all different colors. There's greens of all different colors. There's some white in there. There's some browns in there. Long pieces, short pieces, everything in between. I had enough for 2 trees with a little bit left over in my bucket that I can maybe use to make a small tree. So I think I will do that. All right, I'm going to use a stick, a popsicle stick, to drizzle. And I like starting at the top. And I like to use the same method each time. I focus on the edges. I work at one end and then go down each side and just work my way down. That way you're sure not to miss any spots. And I focus on the edges and just work your way down. And I focus on the edges because if there is any glass that's loose on the edges, it's going to slip out. And you really don't want a customer to walk out of your booth and just purchased a tree and then it breaks or the glass slips out. When the resin hits the glass, it just makes it pop. Oops, that was my fault. Get on there. I was trying to even that edge out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, this tabletop resin is perfect for this application because it's very thick. It's not necessarily a fast cure. Well, it's not a fast cure, but because it's so thick, it is going to stay put a little bit more, and it's meant for coating. So it's meant for an application like this, and it's not going to cause as many, it's not going to cause a fisheye issue. So what a fisheye is when you have resin that is repelled by the surface because there's oil on the surface, or there's something else going on, and then the resin repels and causes these fish eyes. So I am using probably a little bit more resin than I normally would, and I think I'm going to stop because I mixed up 60 per tree, and normally I'm not going to use that much. I don't use that much, but these are bigger trees too. All right, I'll leave that and let it cure. Let it cure up.
I let the resin set up overnight, and I did have a little bit to leak through holes in the wood, but I'm not worried about this at all. You can always sand it off. It's just wood. Then I attached sawtooth hangers on the back so they can hang on the wall. Plus, this makes it very easy to display them at my art shows. And here they are. I really love the chunkiness of this glass, and I just wish I had more of it. I guess I'm just going to have to scour Facebook Marketplace again. All right, my friends, make it a crafty day. Bye.